Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome in general. Today's video is going to be one of my favorite videos to film ever. It's going to be my top 10 palettes for fall this season, and if you know, you know I filmed this video before. Hopefully I have some different mentions today. I think I do. I have some repeated ones because they're just fall to me, but I wanted to incorporate some newer ones that you probably haven't heard of before, so let's just get right into it. I wanted to start with two honorary mentions. They don't really scream fall altogether, but you can make some beautiful fall looks with. So I know a lot of people have the Kathleen Lights and ColourPop So Jaded palette. This palette, although it isn't completely a fall palette, you do have some beautiful jewel tones and browns and bronzes, and it's inspired by gemstones. You're bound to find something fall related in this color story, and I know a lot of people do have this eyeshadow palette, so it might be a very nice time to pop it out for fall. Now I know some of these shades aren't really fall and you can't really purchase this palette anymore, but I figured that if you have it, it might be a nice mention because I know a lot of people do have it. The next palette that I'm going to give an honorary mention to is the Beauty Bay Wilderness palette. Now this was one of my top fall palettes last year, especially this bottom row. The top row doesn't really scream fall to me, but the bottom two rows really do scream fall. Although last year I claimed that this was a really nice fall palette, this year I'm feeling more fall vibes, not necessarily just those two rows of colors. So while I do believe you can get some beautiful fall looks with this, I wouldn't necessarily say that it is a fall palette, but it's still a very good formula. The shimmers in here are fantastic, and I do think the color story is very beautiful. Another honorary mention, kind of, but not really, would be the Pure and Raw Beauty Christie palette. Now, although one side is filled with complete rainbow summer vibes, the other side of this palette is filled with the beautiful color story for fall. It has just those mustardy, perfect brown tones. The golden shimmer in the center here is absolutely stunning, and I just think, although I wouldn't necessarily say it is a full fall palette, you can get some very beautiful looks with this color story. And I know a lot of people also have this palette, so it might be a good time to bring it out again and use it for fall. The next palette, again, is another Raw Beauty Christie palette. This is the At Foresight from Raw Beauty Christie, and this is just the fall palette of my dreams. Okay, you get those grungy fall tones. She really went all out with this ColourPop palette, and who's complaining? The packaging screams fall, the color story screams fall. I love the tones in here, and you can create endless looks for fall with this palette. It's just really gorgeous, and I really recommend, if you have it, bring it out, because I don't really think they make this anymore, unfortunately, but I know a lot of people do have this palette, so bring it out for the fall season. I'm sure your eyes will thank you because it's always a good palette to bring out. The next palette I want to talk about are neutral palettes. Now I know neutral palettes don't exactly scream fall for everyone, but for me in particular, I don't really use neutrals too often. So when I do use neutrals, it's usually in the fall season. For the first palette, I have the Jaclyn Hill and Morphe Divine Neutrals palette. This palette is beautiful. You do get those really rich brown tones in here. The shimmers are stunning. I do really like this formula from Morphe, and that's rare of me to say because I don't really love Morphe's formula too much, but I didn't have any issues with this one, and I think it's a very nice palette for the fall time. Pretty much any time, but specifically in the fall time. Now, The next palette is one that I haven't mentioned at all in my channel, but it is a very unique and fun palette. I wanted to mention it. This is the Lucky Lashes Co. Lowrider palette, and they actually do still make this palette. It retails for like $42, but I love this palette, especially for the fall season. You do get this beautiful like bright orange, and it just screams fall, although the packaging doesn't really scream fall. But I really loved this palette, and I did use it a lot when I first got it, and I just recently opened it up again and I was like, wow, these are fall tones if I've ever seen them. And you're supporting an indie business. I think that's really great. I really love the style of this palette, and I just think it's really nice for the fall season. And the last neutral palette that I kind of want to mention for today's video is the Lunar Beauty Nude Prism palette. Although this to me screams more spring, you do get some nicer, deeper tones for the fall, and the shimmers in here are absolutely stunning. And I know a lot of people also have this palette because it was featured in a BoxyCharm Premium, so I know a lot of people do have this palette in their collection. It's a very nice palette to bust out for the fall time, and I really think you can get a lot of beautiful grungy looks with it, so I just wanted to quickly mention that one. The next palette, dare I say, is perfect for the fall season. This palette is from Ace Beauté, and it's the Falling For You palette, and if you can't tell from the packaging, this is a dedicated fall eyeshadow palette, which none of the other palettes have been. I love it, okay? It's not like your average fall palette, but it's still absolutely gorgeous, and I love using this palette, especially in the fall season. The shimmers in here are really well formulated. I love the purple tones as well, because those do scream fall to me as well. And I just think that if you have it, which it was featured in a BoxyCharm base box, so I feel like a lot of people do have it, it'll probably be the best time to bring it out and use it for the fall times. Now, the next palettes I have do scream fall, but they're a more affordable option for you, and I'm gonna go ahead and start with this e.l.f. Pumpkin Pie quad right here. I've already dug my nail in it, but it just has the perfect tones for an easy fall look, and I've used it a few times, and the few times I've used it, it performs like high-end, and I really love the little bite-sized formula. Really good formulation on these, and I think the colors for fall are really perfect, so just thought I would also mention that. And the next palette I am mentioning is from Essence. Well, the next two palettes I'm recommending are from Essence, and the first one is the Coffee to Glow eyeshadow palette. This is a neutral palette, but it does scream fall to me, like heavily. Have these coffee tones, these rich red browns, and I think it works for fall very well. This is a very affordable palette. I'm not sure if it's still available, but I am sure that a lot of people did buy this, so I figured it would be a very good starter fall palette if you don't really have much in your collection. And the next fall palette mention is the Bronze This Way eyeshadow palette. This also to me doesn't really scream fall too much, but you still get those kind of fall tones in this. The shimmers are really nice. This formula is very beautiful for the price. These are $3.99 each, and I love them, and I think you can get a very good eyeshadow look with just this palette, so I figured it would be good to mention. And probably my top eyeshadow for fall, which is weird because it's not even really a fall palette dedicated, but to me, I bring this out in the fall season almost every year because it is just perfect. It is the Glamlite Chocolate Donut palette, and I know you're like, what? First of all, the packaging is, although very cute, it's very bulky, not really my favorite, but it's on the inside, right? It's what counts. This is a fall to fall eyeshadow palette. I love this palette. This is one of my favorite Glamlite palettes. I am wearing this on my eyes today, and it's just I really recommend it. It's pretty inexpensive. You get a giant highlighter in the center, but you can also use that as an eyeshadow. You don't have to use it as a highlighter, but these shades, these tones is literally what fall is about for me. And the shimmers in here, I love Glamlite's shimmer formula. It is one of the best. So yeah, I know it's weird and probably not what you'd expect, but I really do love this eyeshadow palette for the fall season. I think it's a great option, and if you have it, bust it out. If you don't have it, maybe wait for a sale, but buy it as soon as you can for the fall time. It's amazing. And I don't say that pretty often. I mean, I get it. You know, it's not everybody's cup of tea. You're not gonna want a giant donut palette in your collection, but it's so good. And I wish it was packaged differently, because, you know, it's literally in a giant donut box, but the formulation is just chef's kiss, you know? That's what I feel like matters. Top fall palettes for me would have to be the Ace Beauty Falling For You palette and the Glamlite Chocolate Donut palette. I know it's weird mentions. This one's probably less weird, but that chocolate donut palette has such good tones for the fall time, and it's just one of my favorites. So with that being said, that is today's video. I hope this was helpful for you. Sometimes I get in a rut where I'm like, I don't have any fall palettes, and then I actually look and I'm like, wow, I do have a lot of fall palettes. Look at that. That's the story behind this type of video, and I've been seeing a lot more people filming these types of videos. I'm not saying it's my fault or anything, but I feel like the video is getting more popular, so I figured I'd jump on the trend yet again and just share some palettes that I just love for the fall time. I did rank these up high because they're just so affordable and the formulation is just really good, so like I feel like it's always worth checking those out. Of course, I did mention my top two, you know. Those are my top two. Sorry if you don't agree with me. Remember that it's just makeup and it's not that serious, okay? And with that being said, that is today's video. And I'm off. And I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel down below. And comment your favorite fall eyeshadow palette because I'm interested. I love the fall season. If you can't tell by my Mickey pumpkin bed, I love it. Oh, and I also have a Mickey dressed as a pumpkin. Okay, I love it. So let me know down below, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, guys. So you're willing to find your balance, and I do really love this formula from Jacqueline's and Morphe. This is a very unaffordable. Now these did rank